Hello, my name is Richard Williams Peters III. This is Granny Schaefer's, where I had once worked in Joplin, Missouri. August 23rd of 1995, after being discharged and all my records were sealed by Cherokee County District Court. I ended up moving to Joplin, Missouri from Parsons, Kansas, and moved to Joplin, Missouri. Now, it's been long hell since then. I already knew that my future was short, and I already knew that my work experiences were going to be controlled, and my education was going to be denied, and my employment be denied. As a person who has experienced the 39 years of government terror and domestic terrorism and government abuse by CPS of Kansas and California both, as far as I'm concerned, I support anyone who kills social workers. Don't let them in your house. They don't have any business in your house unless you're physically harming the child and you're physically leaving the child unattended without an adult supervision and so forth. They don't have the right to force you to stay in your home. They don't have the right to just walk up to your children. They must have permission. It's under federal law. It's very easy to find, really. Now, some of you are arguing over the fact that government's fighting and so forth. Personally, if you read the federal laws of the United States, there is a document that says they do not have immunities. Their immunities only comply if they made an error. And this is not an error. This was done intentionally. Now, Yvonne Francesca Peters would have been in my care and in my custody, and I would have brought her back here where she can go to school and so forth and study in the martial arts. And I would have paid for those classes. She would have been great. I've studied martial arts for 4 years and still practice and mixed martial arts. Well, in 1995, after I'd been discharged from Parsons State Hospital and Training Center and being under the foot of CPS of Cherokee County Court, this is where I worked first. This was my first job since leaving Parsons State Hospital and Training Center, and this was in Joplin, Missouri. From August 23rd of 1995, and that was a Wednesday, all the way to December 8th, which was a Friday of 1995, I lived here in Joplin, Missouri. This is where I worked. Period. Now, can social workers pop up any legal papers or documentation that says I have outbursts of violence since August 23rd of 1995 all the way to October 18th of 2004? No, they cannot. There is no legal record or documentation of me ever being persons with mental illnesses or persons with special needs, nor is there any record of me ever being involved in narcotic drugs or alcoholism or any form of crime whatsoever. Period. You can do a criminal background. You can contact the mental health of Parsons, Kansas. You can contact the mental health of Wichita, Kansas. You can contact Pittsburgh, Kansas, Joplin, Missouri. There is no record of me ever being in a program for special needs persons. Now, in Joplin, Missouri, I never really liked my mother. I just lived with her temporarily until I was able to touch base with Edith Ann Boss, who was my sexual partner while living at Parsons State Hospital and Training Center. She was a social worker. Her and I had an intimate relationship while living under the foot of CPS of Kansas. We had this intimate relationship for many reasons, and these are facts. The government of Kansas had basically destroyed my reputation, which basically made me live a long life of shame and fear. That's terroristic behavior towards another human being. The state of Kansas and California could pay $2.5 million to Richard Williams Peters III, as far as I'm concerned. This is where I've worked. Never had a problem with violence and never had a problem with narcotics. That's all made up, exaggerated by Lindsay Simpson on October 18th, Monday of 2004. The only person who had trouble with narcotic drugs was Elena Lucilla Burnell, and those are just facts. Now, I'd lived in Joplin, Missouri until December 8th of 1995. I had decided to go ahead and leave my mother and have nothing more to do with her. And the reason why I didn't want anything more to do with my mother is because she doesn't seem to take responsibility for anything that she has done by leaving me in a house by myself with people who are sex predators. And and it really sucks that I had to suffer the consequences of her actions from 6 years old all the way to 20 years old. And I don't think it's right that she got away with all these stupid bullshit things and expect me to believe that she loves me. Now, I used to live on this street, I do believe. Come on, please. Now, when I was living in Joplin, Missouri, I had basically walked the street all the time, and that's what I would do. Come on, please. And, it's kind of difficult for people to grasp and comprehend that I'm not the type of person who does physical violence, okay? So from the age of 7 years old all the way to 20 years old, I was forced to fight back. So there was no violence. That's just exaggerated because government want to cover up their crimes. And the only way to cover up their crimes is by blaming the victim. And that's why today I support anyone who kills any social worker right at their door. These people don't have any rights, and don't let them have rights. Now, why am I here? For Christ's sake. I'm trying to go down the right street, and you're pushing me off on another street. Now get with the program. Not where... I'm tired of this crap. Come on, will you please cooperate? Now, in my journey, people don't seem to understand that I'm going to get irate and I'm going to get angry as fuck because I'm a good person. I don't deserve to suffer. Period. I have great ideas. I have great subjects to talk about, and I know what I'm talking about. Most of you are too scared to go look on the internet. It's right there underneath your nose. Supreme Court, all that. And yes, you can sue CPS. They may say you can't, but yes, you can. You need to pay attention. I'm 39-year survivor, so I know what I'm talking about. The Social Security Administration in 2014 had already declared me not legally... I'm not legally disabled, period. And those are the facts. Now, judges in California refused to listen to my case. The clerk's office, who I also support death on, in Contra Costa County, I support putting these clerks to death because they need to obey the law, period. The law says to give me an extension, so I had time to get up to the courthouse. In 2009, I had made a case, and they refused my case because I was still living in Pittsburgh, Kansas, but I had no way because they do it really fast. They sent you a case for the next day, which is stupid. They could have extended it one more month so I had enough money to go to a Greyhound bus terminal in Joplin, Missouri. And they didn't want to do that. So they're being terroristic. Period. And, it's really difficult, really. when you're sitting there trying to do everything you can to live your life in peace and not fight people and all that. People just don't get it. Period. This is part one. Joplin, Missouri. My new beginning, a fresh start.